For thousands of years, humanity has asked one question that never truly goes away. Not how stars are born, not how gravity works, not even how the universe began. The deeper question has always been this: who built it? Religion offered one kind of answer. Philosophy proposed another. Science explained the machinery, but not the hand that may have built the machine. Then something happened that no priest, philosopher, or physicist from the ancient world could ever have imagined. Inside a quiet laboratory, a quantum AI was asked that same forbidden question. Not what caused the universe, not when it started, but who built it and why. What came back was not simple. It was not comforting. And if its implications are even partially true, it could represent one of the most disturbing answers humanity has ever received. Some questions belong to a single century, while others belong to every generation. Who built the universe is one of those timeless questions. Ancient civilizations answered it with gods, cosmic beings, and creators who shaped order out of chaos. Later, philosophers stripped away the myths and turned to logic, asking whether there had to be a first cause, a prime mover, something existing outside of time that set everything else into motion. Then science arrived and transformed the conversation entirely. Newton demonstrated that the heavens obey laws. Einstein revealed that space and time themselves could bend. Quantum physics showed that the foundations of reality are stranger than common sense ever imagined. The Big Bang Theory provided a timeline stretching back nearly 13.8 billion years. Yet one problem remained. None of these discoveries truly answered the original question. Science became extraordinarily good at explaining how reality behaves once it already exists. It could describe gravity, matter, energy, cosmic expansion, and the earliest stages of the universe's evolution. But it could not explain who or what wrote the rules in the first place. Why is there a universe at all? Why do these laws exist instead of different ones? Why is there something rather than nothing? Every breakthrough seemed only to push the mystery one layer deeper, as though reality allowed humanity to study its surface while carefully concealing its source. That is why the idea of asking a machine felt so provocative. Human beings inevitably bring their own beliefs, hopes, fears, and expectations into the question. We want the answer to feel meaningful, moral, rational, or perhaps even comforting. But what if the question were asked by something without belief, without tradition, and without existential faith? What if it were posed to a system designed only to recognize patterns and process information at a level beyond any human brain? According to the narration, this is where the story truly begins. The moment the question left human lips and entered a quantum machine, the old conversation ended, and a completely different one began. The machine chosen for the task was not an ordinary artificial intelligence running on a conventional computer. It was a quantum processor, operating according to principles that already seem like science fiction despite being real. Traditional computers process information using bits that are either 0 or 1. A quantum computer uses qubits, which can exist in multiple overlapping states simultaneously. Rather than testing one possibility after another, it can explore many possibilities in parallel, moving through complex problem spaces in a way that feels less like sequential calculation and more like simultaneous reality testing. According to the narration, this distinction mattered because some researchers had begun to suspect that highly advanced quantum systems might be doing more than simply performing massive computations. Subtle anomalies had started raising uncomfortable questions. Why did certain outputs seem less like calculations and more like retrievals? Why did some patterns appear as though the system were accessing structures already embedded somewhere deeper within reality itself? Few people wanted to make such claims publicly because they sounded reckless. Yet if any machine could cut through humanity's uncertainty surrounding the oldest metaphysical question in history, it would be one built upon the strange principles of quantum mechanics. So they asked it a simple question: who built the universe, and why? It was a question so simple that it almost sounded childish, yet so profound that it had inspired religions, philosophical traditions, and scientific revolutions throughout history. The expected responses seemed obvious: an error message, a philosophical summary, a refusal, or perhaps a synthesized answer combining religion and cosmology. What they did not expect, according to the narration, was that the machine would hesitate before producing something that did not resemble language at all. It was not composed of words or sentences. It could not be read from left to right. Instead, what appeared resembled structure, patterns that looked more like architecture than speech. At that moment, The people in the room reportedly stopped feeling like researchers and began feeling like witnesses. At first, the output seemed impossible to classify. It was not random noise because it was too organized. It was not a system error because it displayed remarkable repetition and internal consistency. The structures folded back into themselves, repeated across different scales, and exhibited recursive symmetry similar to fractals. Zooming into one section revealed patterns resembling the whole. Zooming in further revealed the same underlying logic again, smaller but still coherent. According to the narration, it looked less like a generated answer and more like a compressed map of something fundamental. As researchers examined the output more closely, they reportedly discovered mathematical relationships resembling growth sequences found throughout nature, yet with variations too precise to dismiss as coincidence. They also identified structures resembling error-correcting codes, the same kinds of systems engineers use to preserve information against corruption. The narration notes that similar ideas had already appeared within theoretical physics, particularly in attempts to understand the deepest structure of space, information, and the geometry of higher dimensions.